he will not join.
Okay.
And I connect with the Vinodanda Prabhu and others also. I called in South Africa, so Krishna Prabhu told that try to join. It was not a fulfill. Let's see. But in India, a lot of devotees are there who will be joining. And from the western side, I have to still call some of them. So Vasu will join.
Okay.
Kanupriya also have to connect. Madhavi Amma yoga will definitely join. I called her, but I could not talk with her.
I'm going to start the reading if that's okay with you. Dandavat Pranam. Namaste. All glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 41. Ato petya svasirbiram Govinda priya sartiti Nyavedayat tam priyayai So chantya atma janhatan. After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer, Sri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. Purport. The transcendental relation of Arjuna with Krishna is of the dearmost friendship. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself has claimed Arjuna as his dearmost friend. Everything being is thus related with the Supreme Lord by some sort of affectionate relation, either as servant or as friend or as parent or as an object of conjugal love. Everyone thus can enjoy the company of the Lord in the spiritual realm if he at all desires and sincerely tries for it by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Text 42. Tatartam pashuvat pasabadham avanmukham karma jugopshitena nirksha krishna pakrutam guru shutam vamasvabhava kripaya nanamacha. Sri Sutta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Asvatthama, who was bound with ropes like an animal, and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. She showed him due respects as a Brahmin. Purport. Asvatthama was condemned by the Lord himself, and he was treated by Arjuna just like a culprit, not like the son of a Brahmana or a teacher. When he was brought before Srimati Draupadi, she, although aggrieved for the murder of her sons, and although the murderer was present before her, could not withdraw the due respect generally offered to a Brahmana or to the son of a Brahmana. This is due to her mild nature as a woman. Women are no better than boys, and therefore they have no discriminatory power like that of a man. Asvatthama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahmana, and for this reason he was condemned by the greatest authority, Lord Sri Krishna, and yet a mild woman could not withdraw her natural courtesy for a Brahmana. Even to date, in a Hindu family, a woman shows proper respect to the Brahmin caste, however fallen in highness a Brahmabandhu may be. But the men have begun to protest against Brahmabandhus who are born in families of good Brahmanas, but by action are less than Sudras. The specific word used in this shloka is Vamasvabhava, mild and gentle by nature. A good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence does not do so. But anyway, we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. One must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Asvatthama may be respected by a good-natured woman, but that does not mean that he is good as a genuine Brahmana. Text 43. Uvachachasa hantyasya bandhana yanam sati muchyatam esha brahmano nitaram guru. She could not tolerate Asvatthama's being bound by ropes, and being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master. Purport. As soon as Asvatthama was brought before Draupadi, she thought it intolerable that a Brahmana should be arrested like a culprit and brought before her in that condition, especially when the Brahmana happened to be a teacher's son. Arjuna arrested Asvatthama knowing perfectly well that he was the son of Dronacharya. Krishna also knew him to be so, but both of them condemned the murderer without consideration of his being the son of a Brahmana. According to the revealed scriptures, a teacher or spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master. A guru is also called an acharya, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of shastras and has helped his disciples to adopt the ways. Asvatthama failed to discharge the duties of a Brahmana or teacher, and therefore he was liable to be rejected from the exalted position of a Brahmana. On this consideration, both Lord Sri Krishna and Arjuna were right in condemning Asvatthama, but to a good lady like Draupadi, the matter was considered not from the angle of shastric vision, but as a matter of custom. By custom, Asvatthama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. It was so because generally the people accept the son of a Brahmana as a real Brahmana, by sentiment only. Factually, the matter is different. Dandavats Muni Maharaj. By custom, Asvatthama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. It was so because generally the people accept the son of a Brahmana as a real Brahmana, by sentiment only. Factually, the matter is different. A Brahmana is accepted on the merit of qualification and not on the merit of simply being the son of a Brahmin. But in spite of all this, Draupadi desired that Asvatthama be at once released, and it was all the same a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of tribulation personally, but still such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. These are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. 44. Text 44. Sarahasyo danurveda savishargo pasamyama astragramascha bhavata sikshito yad anugrahat. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. Purport. Dhanurveda, or military science, was taught by Dronacharya with all its confidential secrets of throwing and controlling by Vedic hymns. Gross military science is dependent on material weapons, but finer than that is the art of throwing the arrows saturated with Vedic hymns, which act more effectively than gross material weapons like machine guns or atomic bombs. The control is by Vedic mantras or the transcendental science of sound. It is said in the Ramayana that Maharaj Dasaratha, the father of Lord Sri Ram, used to control arrows by sound only. He could pierce his target with his arrows by only hearing the sound, without than that of gross material military weapons used nowadays. Arjuna was taught all this, and therefore Draupadi wished that Arjuna feel obliged to Acharya Droṇa for all these benefits. And in the absence of Dronacharya, his son was his representative. That was the opinion of the good lady Draupadi. It may be argued why Dronacharya, a rigid Brahmana, should be a teacher in military science, but the reply is that a Brahmin should become a teacher, regardless of what his department of knowledge is. A learned Brahmana should become a teacher, a priest, and a recipient of charity. A bona fide Brahmana is authorized to accept such professions. Text 45. Saisha Bhagavan Droṇa Prajarupena Vartate Tasyatmano Rudham Patnaste Tasyatmano Rudham Patyaste Nanvagad Virashu, certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife, Kripi, did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. Purport. The wife of Dronacharya, Kripi, is the sister of Kripacharya, a devoted wife who is, according to revealed scriptures, the better half of her husband, is justified in embracing voluntary death along with her husband if she is without issue. But in the case of the wife of Dronacharya, she did not undergo such a trial because she had her son, the representative of her husband. A widow is a widow only in name if there is a son of her husband existing. So, in either case, Asvatthama was the representative of Dronacharya, and therefore killing Asvatthama would be like killing Dronacharya. That was the argument of Draupadi against the killing of Asvatthama. 46. Tadharmagya mahabhaga bhavadbir goravam kulam vrajinam narhati praptum pujam vandhyam apikshaksha. O most fortunate one, who know the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Purport. A slight insult for a respect is be careful in dealing with worshipful family members. 47. Marodid asya janani Gautami pati devata yatahamrita vatsarta rodhimya shrumuki muhu. My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not constantly cry like me. Wife of Dronacharya in the same position of childlessness, both from the point of motherly feelings and from the respectable position held by the wife of Dronacharya. 48. Yaikopi tam brahmakulam rajanyar ajitatmabi tatkulam pradhatya asu sanubandham sucharpitam. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense, fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. Purport. The Brahmana order of society, or the spiritually advanced caste or community, and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by the other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly order, the mercantile order, and the laborers. 49. Sutta uvacha dharmyam nyayam sakuranam nirvyalikam samam mahat rajadharma suto rajnai pratyanadad vachodvija. Sutta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhisthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. Purport. Maharaj Yudhisthira, who was king of Dharmaraj or Yamaraj, fully supported the words of Queen Draupadi in asking Arjuna to release Asvatthama. Were indebted to the family of Dronacharya because of Arjuna's learning the military science from him. If ingratitude were shown to be such a benevolent, were to be shown to such a benevolent family, it would not be at all justified from the moral standpoint. The wife of Dronacharya, who was the half body of the great soul, must be treated with compassion, and she should not be put into grief because of her son's death. That is should be taken with full knowledge. The feeling of equality was there because Draupadi spoke out of her personal experience. A barren woman cannot understand the grief of a mother. Draupadi was herself a mother, and therefore her calculation of the depth of Kripi's grief was quite to the point, and it was glorious because she wanted to show proper respect to a great family. That ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 50 on Monday. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Srup Damodar Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Arupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the worldwide devotees. Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. All glories to Ekachakra Dham Ki Jai. All glories to Nishingapali Dham Ki Jai. All glories to Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai. All glories to Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Nitai Gora Hari Hari Bol. Dandavat Pranam.